Oh, yeah!
Connecting to the internet.
No one makes a fool out of me. Get a load of this.
There's only one real Sonic.
Hey, this is Rect, and today I'll be talking about classic Sonic Spirit in the very first Sonic game. You know, we talk a lot about what we want the spirit of Sonic to be in future games. Perhaps it would be fair to look into the older games too, and see where our concept of Sonic Spirit comes from. What we want is to get the youthful energy with a touch of edginess back. Why? To differentiate Sonic from the rest, recapture what made him unique and give him a reason to exist again. And now to explain where this all came from. So let's start from the beginning. The very first Sonic. While not an untouchably perfect game by any means, this is where it all began, and where the rules were set to establish what Sonic was going to mean to us and the gaming community. First, unconventionality, or edginess. This is the first and foremost component of TrueSonicSpirit. Why? Because it's what separates Sonic from the pack. By the early 1990s, most 2D side-scrolling platformers were all about logic. You had a character that moved slowly, so you could time your next move and successful jump to the next platform. You had to navigate tricky obstacles and figure out routes. These were slow, analytical games with clearly designed challenges and paths. Sega threw 90% of all that logic out the window and put a large emphasis on speed, action, and adrenaline. They incorporated long hallways with loops to create the illusion of Sonic moving super fast. A speed-based platformer? That was absolutely unheard of at the time. Sonic wasn't just the anti-Mario, he was the anti-platformer. Notice how it recreates the typical platform game environment many games at the time had, but with the right skills and abilities, you could pass by them all. A platform game made to be deconstructed and destroyed. Instead of being a rat in a maze going through the pre-designed obstacle course like the designers intended, you could break the game and fly past it all at Sonic speed. Well, at least in Green Hill Zone. Later levels became more conventional platform stages as the designers didn't quite know how to extend this philosophy into an entire game. But regardless, it's Green Hill Zone that everyone loves and remembers, not Labyrinth Zone. Sonic had a unique design based on things the Japanese thought were cool, or representing what made America great and appealing. And to top it all off, Sonic had an attitude and broke the fourth wall, a charming touch. By honing in on that sense of empowerment and being beyond the boundaries of other games, Sonic became the representative of power, might, and new possibilities yet beyond our reach. After all, the definition of edginess is not dark and angsty. It's actually unconventional in a new, unforeseen way, being on the edge of conventions, about to break the boundaries and uncover new territory. Spectacle and appeal. One of our mighty pillars was brought in with Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Here we have the sense of speed, the level design, and the art direction. Though it was limited to the Green Hill Zone, Sonic 1 still introduced the speed-based platforming that we're all so familiar with. Sega could show off the power of their hardware, how fast it could process movement. Sonic's speed is the spectacle, and his speed is enhanced by level design and the art direction. The levels are usually full of loops, slopes, and a richly detailed background, giving it more meaning and weight. There's a vibrant and diverse palette, ranging from the bright sunny colors of Green Hill to the darker, more somber colors of Scrap Brain. The stages weren't just random either, but childlike and semi-abstract interpretations of the amazing sights we could find in the real world. Alien, but still grounded. This was all marketed with a touch of aggressiveness, hitting that sweet spot of a sportsmanship that's so very ingrained in American society. Want to be the best? Get a Sega. Get Sonic. America found it cool, and when America thinks something's cool, the rest of the world will follow. Appropriate tone for people of all ages. Sonic 1 was bright and cartoony, and for children? Don't think so, buddy. Green Hill Zone might be to some extent, but from Marble Hill Zone on, it's a wild ride. Muted temples, gritty factories, calm magical moonlit streets, or bouncy crazy cities. Sonic has it all. Sega's general target audience for their games were teenagers and young adults. Naturally, this applies to Sonic the Hedgehog. They believed that family-friendly games were something that Nintendo did best, so they need something else. Sonic the Hedgehog is for people of all ages, and that definitely includes teens and adults. Sonic was cool and youthful, and this became a huge part of his overall spirit. From the character to the games, everything was cool. Catchy tunes. And then the music, a huge part of Sonic's spirit. Sonic's music has that incredible uniqueness to it, each song capturing the essence of both Sonic himself and the location/setting he found himself in. This was brought in with Sonic 1 and is continued with most of the series. Not just bouncy and happy, but intense and dark as well if need be. Gotta get that rhythm and energy into the proceedings. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is vital to the series. It brought many components that would later form the base of Sonic's true spirit. For all its flaws, it has a lot to offer: intensity, innovation, and a promise of many adventures to come. A damn shame the game is now only remembered for Green Hills having pretty colors and checkerboard rocks in it. As the series progressed, games added on to what Sonic 1 blazed a trail for, fully realizing the vision they had from the start by Sonic 2, and adding onto it much more with Sonic 3 and subsequent games. Most importantly, though, this defines why Spirit's so important to the franchise in the first place. It's not something exclusive to the adventure games or one specific era of the series, but rather spread out across every game pre-colors at least a little bit, even in Sonic's very first game. By better understanding it, we're one step closer to reviving Sonic Spirit. True Sonic Spirit. This has been Wrecked. I'm out.